thought? Have you ever thought, if only I had the money, if I had the fame, if I had the acclaim, if I had the respect, man, if only I could play soccer like Lionel Messi, if only I could box like Muhammad Ali, if I had the voice of Justin Bieber, and man, if I was a legend like Nelson Mandela, man, if I could play basketball like Kobe Bryant, and I could dance like Michael Jackson. Have you ever thought? And you would daydream about these people on the wall, and you would think one day, if I could be those people. I know I have thought that. And I think the reason behind that is that embedded in every single one of us is this deep desire to want to live a life that is significant. To know that when we live this life and everything is done, we have made a difference. We lived a life that counted. I don't think any of us want to be ordinary. Because after all, ordinary really says there is nothing special about you, that you are normal, that you are basic, that you are just a typical teenager. We want to be extraordinary. Because extraordinary says we are difference makers, we are world changers, that we are not normal, that we are unique, we are gifted, we are talented, and the list goes on and on and on and on. And man, I truly believe that you were created for an extraordinary life, an extraordinary life. Now the question is, do you believe it for yourself? Now, if you doubt it, even just a tiny little bit, then this series is for you. With that said, my name is Wanga and welcome to Blazeyouth. This is episode 1 of Anything But Ordinary. You are ugly. You're stupid, your parents hate you, you're an a-hole, you're a piece of I won't say that word, but those are just some comments that were shared on social media. But I mean, no one would ever say that to you, right? I mean, you are cool, you're awesome, you're funny, you're beautiful, you're handsome, you're amazing. No one would say that to you. But just imagine with me for a second. Let's use your imagination. Let's say we have a guy, let's call him Trevor, right? Actually, Trevor sounds like Trevor Noah. Let's call him James. Now, James says he wants to go on social media, so he takes this amazing picture of him after like 10, 12, 15 hours of really trying to get this picture. Well, he finally gets there. He finally gets the perfect picture where the sides look amazing, everything is cool, and he got the picture and he goes on Instagram, he puts on the right filter, and then he posts it, and now the comments start coming. Oh, you are lovely. You're beautiful. Wow, look at this handsome guy. Fire emoji, kiss emoji. Mwah, 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 mwah. The comments just keep coming. And then he sees this comment that says, your nose is too big. And now, James, having had this, he starts feeling insecure about himself. He's like, wait, my nose, he starts looking on the, my nose is really too big. And then what he does is that he takes the picture, chucks it on his archives, never to be seen again. And from that day on, he would continue to take pictures, making sure he's looking down, peace signs, making sure he's hiding that part of him because he didn't want anyone to see that his nose is too big. Now, what if I told you that actually no one said that comment to James? James, after looking at the picture for a very long time, suddenly started looking at it too much, and he suddenly thought, wait, my nose is too big, because he was so focused on his nose. And he started thinking, maybe I'm too ugly. Maybe I'm not that good looking. And no one ever said those words to him. You see, some of that might be extreme. Maybe no one has ever said those comments to you. But I can promise you, you've thought negatively about yourself. Because I could take the most awesome, handsome, extraordinary, incredible, good-looking, sporty, plays soccer, has an incredible voice, can play guitar, any instrument, And I promise you, they have had negative thoughts about themselves. And the reason for that is that we take what we have, we take what we look like, we take where we come from, and we compare it to the world, we compare it to society, and we see that we don't match that standard, we don't match that image that is projected. And then what happens is that we start feeling like we're just ordinary, we're just normal teenagers. We are not that special after all. Because in this pursuit of wanting to be like that, to look like that, to become that, we end up forgetting who we were created to be. In the pursuit of trying to find who we are, we forget who we really, really are. So let's use some common sense for a second. Right? Let's say God is God. If God is God, who tells God where to go? Who tells God what to do? Who tells God how to act, how to think? No one, right? And if God created us and He imagined us and created us into being, and we were made in His own image, and He's the uncreated, no one tells where to go, no one tells what to think, God, if He is that God, wouldn't it then make sense for us to want to be like Him instead of want to be like everyone else? To follow what He has for us, to be who He says we are. I think it makes common sense. But if we are to be honest with ourselves, most of the times we don't feel like that. We don't feel like we are who God says we are. And today, really what I'm going to do, I'm going to remind you who God says you are. And we're going to read only one verse. And that verse is 1 Peter 2, verse 9. 1 Peter 2, verse 9. And in 1 Peter, it says these things, three things. And it says, these things you are. Not you are becoming, not you will be, not you will be someday when you grow up and and you have the job and you have the girl. No, these things you are. Listen to me. These things you are. And I promise you, if you listen to this and you took it to heart, not only are you going to set yourself up for an extraordinary life, you are going to change the world. You are going to be anything but ordinary. And these three things you are. Number one, chosen. Chosen. You are chosen. Let me say it again. You are chosen. Now, let me tell you about Peter. Now, Peter wasn't always this incredible guy that had it all together, had it all figured out. And to be honest with you, Peter was quite an ordinary guy. Peter was a liar. He lied about knowing his friend Jesus, not once, not twice, but 3 times. Peter was jealous of this other guy named John, so he was constantly trying to compare himself to John and thinking maybe Jesus would love him more than John. Peter was violent, out there chopping people's ears. Now, that was Peter. Now, would you say there was anything special, anything extraordinary, anything grand about Peter? No. But Peter is the same guy that wrote 1 Peter 2, verse 9. And he says, you are chosen. What he's saying he is chosen. And he wasn't chosen because he was grand, because he was amazing, because he was incredible. He was chosen because that's who he is. And you are chosen. And you need to hear this today, because I need to tell you this. Life is tough. And you will not always come number one. You will not always get the girl. You will not always go to Valentine's or to matric dance with that girl that you really like. You will not always be number one. Sometimes you will be number 2. Sometimes you will be number last on that sports team. You might not always be chosen. But that does not mean that's not who you are, because you were chosen by God, the Creator. He imagined you before you were born, before you were thought, even in your mother's womb and even in your parents. God chose you. He chose you, and that is who you are. And you need to live like that is who you are. You don't work hard for this. You don't need to become that. Not one day when you have that. It's now. That is who you are. Chosen. Number 2. You are holy. Holy, 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 holy. Now you might not actually really know what means, because probably you've had it in songs or something. Now listen to me here, and listen to me really closely, because for most of us, we have a skewed meaning of what holy is. We think holy is knowing the Bible from back to front, and we can say so many verses and all of that, and we can tell people that we are holier than thou, like, look at me, I am better than all of y'all. But what holy in its essence really means, it means you are set apart. It means you are different. It means that you could stop now compromising who you are trying to fit in, because you were not meant to fit in. You were not meant to fit in. You were not meant to fit in. You were set apart. You were made to be different. That is why when you find yourself in a situation where you're doing something that you are really uncomfortable with, you feel like, I just don't belong. This just doesn't feel right. Something at your core. The reason for that is your body trying to tell you, no, you are set apart. You are holy. You are different. You were not created to fit in. You were created to stand out. That is who you are. You are holy. And that is how God created you. And that is what happens when you give your life to Jesus. You are made holy. 3, you are accepted. And because of this, you could stop looking for validation, for worth, for significance, for acceptance anywhere else other than Jesus. No, I mean, you could stop looking for validation, for worth, for acceptance anywhere else other than Jesus. How does that sit with you? Because I promise you, for most people, if I ask them, do you feel accepted? Not always. I don't always feel like I belong. I don't always feel accepted. And what happens is that because we don't feel accepted and we don't think we are accepted, for most of us, we will trade something that is so dear and valuable to us just so that we could be accepted. We'd go into relationships and I'll give you sex, I'll give you my body just so you could love me and accept me. Would you laugh at my jokes? Would you like my filter? Would you do this for me? Just maybe I would feel accepted. And I promise you, man, if you looked for acceptance anywhere else than Jesus, you won't live right. You won't think right. You won't act right. Because that's not who you are. You are accepted. Because, and here's why, you need to listen to this and you need to get it. You are accepted because God so loved you. God so loved you that He sent His only Son, Jesus, to come and die a gruesome, terrible death on a cross, a bloody death, so that you could be accepted, so that you could be a son, so that you could be a daughter. That is who you are. Jesus bought that on the cross. You were bought at a price. So I beg you, I really do. Do not go into this week, do not go into this month, into this life even, looking for acceptance anywhere else, because it's already yours. It's already yours. That is who you are, my friend. You are accepted. Don't look for worth, don't look for validation anywhere else other than Jesus. I repeat, you are accepted. That is who you are. Let me tell you a story real quick. There's this mother that decided to name his son, and this guy right here, he decided to name him the coldest to ever do it. The coldest to ever do it. Now, props to the mom, because this is an incredible name. Like, just imagine your name was the coldest to ever do it. I can imagine being that son, being named the coldest to ever do it. Imagine the coldest to ever do it woke up in the morning and he's like, I feel like I'm going to be average today. I'm just going to go, just be me. I'm not really the coldest. I'm just going to just live life, do whatever I want. No, right? The coldest to ever do it has to be the coldest to ever do it. In fact, this guy is the coldest to ever do it because he got accepted at one of the biggest colleges in the world. And it's the same with us. Chosen, accepted, set apart. That is who we are. When I wake up in the morning, I'm like, man, I am the coldest to ever do it. That is who you are. You don't wake up in the morning and you say, I don't feel accepted today, so I'm going to ask my friend to love me, to accept me, to think well of me. I don't feel chosen today, so I'm not going to live that way. I don't feel set apart, so I'll do whatever I want. No! Like, seriously, no. You are the coldest to ever do it. You are holy, chosen, set apart. You are accepted. Just live like that. Live like that is who you are. Wake up in the morning and own it, because that is who you are. And that is what Jesus did for you when he died on that gruesome death, so that you could never look for that in anywhere else other than him. Although these people are incredible, they are amazing in their own right, and we look at them and we say, wow, they do not beat Jesus. They do not beat God, because he created us. And Jesus died for us so that we could have all of that. Now, believing that you are all those things, although it sounds difficult, it really is the easy part. Now, the hard part is actually walking it out, is living it out. Because extraordinary is not made where there's lights, there's camera, there's action, like all these guys like Taylor Swift and Justin Bieber's and Messi's, when all the world is watching them. It's actually not made there, because extraordinary is made behind the scenes. So, the question for this week, question of the week for you is, who are you when no one is looking? Because next week, we're going to talk about how you can live extraordinary out. So, join us for part 2, episode 2 of Anything But Ordinary. See you next week.